Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're looking at a, well, kind of invisible battle happening inside pretty much every single pharmaceutical company in the world. It is a subtle clash, sure, but it absolutely dictates the safety of our medicines and the very survival of these companies. I'm talking about the clash between the fixed quality mindset and the progressive quality mindset. And trust me, once you see the difference between these two approaches, you are never going to look at quality assurance the same way again.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because when we are dealing with life-saving medications and highly sensitive processes, there's just a hard truth we just have to face right up front. In pharma, compliance alone is not enough. Simply checking the regulatory box, passing a basic audit, and calling it a day, that is actually a really dangerous baseline. If your entire goal is literally just to not get in trouble, well, you're already falling behind.
So let's break this down. Part 1, the fixed mindset trap and the everyday complacency that comes with it. How do organizations fall into this trap? Well, it's pretty easy to spot once you know what to listen for. If you walk through a facility operating with a fixed mindset, you are inevitably going to hear this phrase repeated over and over again. We've always done it this way. It is usually said with a shrug, right? Or a heavy sigh. It's a robotic reliance on past habits. And the massive problem here is that this phrase traps an organization in a complete illusion of safety. Just because a process hasn't completely failed yet doesn't mean it won't fail tomorrow. It just instantly shuts down critical thinking.
And then, oh man, there is this classic line, just close the CAPA. In a fixed mindset culture, this absolutely crucial process of finding a root cause for an issue just becomes a tedious paperwork exercise. People fall into this check-the-box trance, rushing to get the file off their desk and closed out it in the computer system without ever ensuring any genuine long-term resolution has actually happened. It is literally like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone.
But there is a better way. Part 2, the progressive mindset shift, focusing on curiosity and risk prevention. Thankfully, there is an antidote to all that complacency, a shift where the whole energy of a team transforms. Instead of just telling their team to close the CAPA, a progressive leader asks a radically different question. They ask, how do we prevent recurrence permanently? See what happens there? We are shifting the focus entirely away from just administrative paperwork and moving it directly onto solving the actual problem. The goal isn't to close file anymore. The goal is a bulletproof process. They also regularly ask their teams this: what risk are we missing? This is arguably the most powerful question in a progressive organization. I mean, these companies do not sit around waiting for a machine to break or a batch to fail or an inspector to point out a flaw. No way. They actively hunt for unseen risks. They operate on the assumption that they have blind spots, and they want to discover them on their own terms, long before they turn into massive compliance failures. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark difference between these two philosophies. On the left, the fixed mindset says, the inspection passed, so the system is fine, basically equating mere survival with operational excellence. But the progressive mindset looks at that exact same passing grade and still asks, can this process be improved? They don't care if the inspector gave them a gold star. They know that the pursuit of genuine quality, well, it has no finish line. Moving right along to part 3, evolving the quality system, how we actually move from fixed to progressive. Let's move to and see how this builds. You see, you can't just demand curiosity from your team. You need an underlying structured framework. Strong pharmaceutical quality systems evolve through 4 specific pillars. First up, continuous learning, meaning you never assume your team knows everything and you actively stay ahead of industry science. Second, honest gap assessment, and this takes real organizational courage to admit exactly where your systems are weak without pointing fingers. Third is root cause thinking, refusing to just treat the symptoms and digging deep to find the true source of a failure. And fourth, process improvement, taking all that discovered data and actually doing the hard work to make the workflow better. These 4 pillars, they are the bridge from a complacent system to a dynamically evolving one.
Which brings us to part 4, why the difference matters and the ultimate stakes involved.
So, why should a busy pharmaceutical company put in all this monumental effort to change their entire corporate culture? Well, it comes down to this fundamental reality. Organizations with a fixed mindset merely maintain systems. They're just treading water, right? Trying not to sink under the immense weight of daily regulations. But organizations with a progressive mindset actively build muscle. Every challenge, every audit, every slight deviation is used as fuel to make their operations more resilient, more efficient, and infinitely safer. So the crucial point is this. In a regulated industry, that difference matters. We aren't making disposable widgets here. We are manufacturing medicines that go directly into the human body. The gap between merely maintaining a fragile system and actively strengthening a robust one isn't just about profit margins. It can literally be the difference between a safe, life-saving product and a devastating recall. Which brings us to the final, essential question I want to leave you with today. Which mindset is driving your organization right now? Are your teams rushing just to close the CAPA and get home, or are they actively hunting for the hidden risks they might have completely missed? Take a really hard look at your own culture today and ask yourself what it's going to take to make that progressive shift. Thank you so much for learning with me in this explainer. Stay curious, and I will see you next time.